Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Tantrapa, your host with the most. You are here at the Frequency of Abundance. We have an incredibly special guest with us. We have the wonderful Lama Tantrapa. And today we're doing something a little bit different. Normally we'll go into deep, captivating talks 7 days a week, I know, and we have some fun with that. I wanted to make sure that you knew that today this wasn't about that. This was a one on one. We have a talk, we have a bit of an interview, we get a chance to really speak and meet. And the Lama is an incredible person. This is one of the many things that he does, and we're going to get into a bunch of those. And we have an amazing event coming up shortly. So I wanted to make sure that you could join us over at the World Resilience Summit. It's absolutely going to be a blast. And this is still, while we're chatting here, a little bit interactive. So know that you can always pop in, you can always have some fun in the sun. Now, I'm going to put in contact information in the chat. If you'd like to join us at the Resilience Summit, please click the button and go. It is complimentary. Your ticket's already been covered. It's a beautiful thing. And let me just say hi, Lama. How are you?
Nathan, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me on your show.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we're going to have a fun time. We're going to have a fun talk. If you guys don't know about the Resilience Summit, it is coming up in about a week or so. And it is going to be an incredible gathering of about 2 dozen remarkable healers, light workers, specialists, and really, really incredible people from all over the world. The Lama Tantrapa, besides being the CEO of the Resilience Center, he's also the founder and president of the Academy of Qi Dao, the producer of the Secrets of Qigong Masters podcast, the organizer of several, which is so nicely said, online summits and communities where normally tens of thousands of people virtually show up around the world all the time, and the creator of Professions, giving others a chance to go and make money with dream yoga coaching and Qigong coaching. And I'm sure there's going to be some meat you can add to the bones. So, Lama, please tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really honored to invite all our viewers and listeners to enjoy our virtual event. I've been putting this virtual event since 2012. My first summit was not on resilience, it was on the topic of conscious human evolution. It was amazing. It was 1 dozen masters who were sharing the wisdom about how to be a more evolved human being. So,
Wow.
ever since then, I was totally hooked. I was delighted to interview other masters, invite them to share their expertise, and also enlighten thousands of people participating in our events. That's, as you said, one of the aspects of my work, and other aspects, well, there are also as important. Academy of Qidao is the first and only school in the world providing professional certification in Qigong coaching, which is the profession, as you mentioned, I pioneered in the year 2005, which is 20 years ago. So 20
Congratulations. That's
years and
beautiful.
thank you, thank you. It's been an amazing journey because, as you can imagine, back then nobody was doing anything like this. I actually had to figure out how to integrate together these two seemingly distinct approaches. One is qigong, which is energy arts, and of course, it can be applied to healing, it can be applied to personal development, it can be applied to relationships. My name is Tantrapa. I am an expert in Tantra. So, for example, that's one of the applications of the energy arts that I teach and practice. But there are others, anything from martial arts. Again, you're familiar with martial arts. I'm familiar with martial arts, been done for 50 years. And so, literally. So, that's something that I love practicing and sharing with other people. But when people study martial arts, they usually assume the teacher is going to tell me what to do. And that's what most teachers of martial arts do, whether they are sifus in Chinese martial arts or senseis of Japanese martial arts or other styles. They tell students, do this, don't do that. If you do things the way that I do things, you're golden. You'll get a new belt or you'll be promoted to the new level of training. And if you don't do
Yeah.
it the way that I do, well, that's no good.
Yeah.
Why? Because my style is the best thing since sliced bread. So everyone thinks that basically they are doing something unique and different and better than other style. Otherwise, why would you bother doing this style, right?
It's true.
But where do styles come from?
I
Well,
thought about
somebody
that because
invented
even
them.
then, they had to. They had to. And even if you look at it, there's that beautiful expression that you don't judge the martial art by the practitioner. Because I've seen some people that don't reflect the art that they practice. And I've seen others that use so much of themselves that it almost changes the art that they practice into something else.
Yeah, and I simplify that expression. Instead of don't judge martial art by the practitioner, I just simply say don't judge, period. Why? Because who are you to judge? Who am I to judge? Who are we all to judge any or anyone that would assume that we have some authority over others and that we are going to judge them or judge their styles or judge whatever the hell they're doing? And most of the time, we don't know what they're doing and why they're doing it. So I invite people to test what they're doing.
Okay.
You're doing something, whatever that is that you're doing. What's the objective that you're trying to achieve? You're punching, for example. Okay. How is it working for you?
Hmm.
Is the punch as powerful and as fast and as precise as you want it to be? Is there any room for improvement? Have you been testing it? Is this the best punch you can muster? Are there any other techniques that you considered? Maybe instead of this punch, maybe you do that punch, or maybe you do this punch, or maybe you do that punch. What is the thing that actually is appropriate, necessary, or most effective under this particular set of circumstances? That's the thing that most people forget. That there are different strokes for different folks, and under different circumstances, we need to use different tools.
Yeah.
If the only tool you have is the hammer, then you treat everything like a nail.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is we learn to experience life more fully, which also entails connecting with greater number of resources, which makes you more resourceful. And that, my friend, is the key to resilience.
I love that. The resourcefulness, connecting to more resources, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. Yeah. Especially if we're looking at things like, well, my talk was on global resilience, which is such a unique twist compared to personal resilience. And I remember we laughed about it and said, well, sure, everyone's got a story and everyone came from a challenging place and overcame their struggles and wow, ta-da, resilience, you know? And I'm like, okay. But at the same time, global resilience isn't just about that. It isn't just about being resilient in the face of economy and weather and politics
Climate.
and military and climate and there's so many things, and it's resilience in the face of all of that, but it's collective, and so we have to have that ability to teach ourselves and train ourselves. We can't expect that you're magically just born with it and that you magically know what to do and the right thing to do. And so putting that back into education, being able to come to a World Resilience Summit, hearing from dozens of other experts and speakers, elevating your personal, national, and global resilience would probably be the coolest thing you could do that weekend.
Absolutely. And you pointed it out really nicely that we're not born with resilience. A newborn baby doesn't have that much resilience to speak of. They have to be exposed to some challenges,
Yeah.
figure out how to overcome the challenges. The number one, lift your head and look around. The number two challenge: roll over on your stomach and try to crawl. And you
Pull
crawl
yourself up. Yeah.
before you walk, and
Yeah.
you walk before you run. And one of the things that a lot of people forget to teach is baby steps.
Hmm.
I am guilty as charged. I often forget to teach baby steps as well, for simple reasons. I started on this path so long ago that I kind of forgot what it meant to be a complete novice. So when my grandfather began teaching me the baby when I was at the tender age of 6. So as you can imagine, I don't really remember perfectly what it is we did when I was 6 and when I was 7, when I was 8, but those are the steps that we have to offer to other people. And so
Yeah.
I kind of constantly remind myself, go back to the beginner's mind. Remember what it's like to get on this path and what it's like to be on this path and how do you discover this path. And that is essentially what we are doing with our World Resilience Summit. We're helping people discover the path and help them get on it. Once you're on
I
the
like
path,
that.
of course, there are lots of challenges, and there's going to be more challenges to overcome because challenges don't get as you progress along your journey. You go
Yeah.
from the first grade to the first grade. The math problems that you were in the first grade was what? 1 + 1 = 2 at best.
At best.
The second grade, well, maybe you are actually reducing 2 by 1. Oh, wait a moment, that's a more challenging problem. And then by the time you get to the 10th grade, well, there's going to be some more challenges. And you graduate from high school, go to college. The challenges are not going to get any less, whether they're math challenges or other challenges. You go to grad school.
Very true.
That's not any easier. It's obviously going to be more advanced, more challenging. Graduate from grad school? Well, let's not stop there. Let's go to post-grad school. And when you go through
So
PhD,
everything you've done preps you
education
for
is
everything
not
you're about to
easier.
do. Yeah, I like that.
Every step along the way is just yet another step. It's not the destination, it's the journey that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow. Now,
And,
in
and,
that,
and that's the journey of resilience because we don't always progress forward. We also backslide or we get lost somewhere, we go on detour and
Sideways.
Exactly.
yeah,
And then we
Yeah.
realize, oh, wait a moment, I wasted some time going on some kind of side trip instead of actually progressing along my main path. And most people don't even know that they are on the path. So we want to actually help our participants and viewers to discover that they are on the path, that they are on the journey. What is the name of this journey? What is the type of this path that you're on? And that we want to help people take further steps along the path, learn as many lessons as they can, and progress nicely so eventually they become the thought leaders for the next generation or next wave of travelers.
that's the education
travel that
component
step.
that I was speaking about. That if we don't do that, and that a lot of it, when we look at any type of group, any organization, any government, any company, it's all just people. It's all just people. You know, this guy over here who's the president of this or the leader of that, he's just people. And
Yeah.
he has more influence. And if we can work with those leaders and if we can get those that have the influence to change and to implement the education that's needed at so many different
They-
levels within the society and culture, that is how I believe a lot of that world resilience will come around.
Absolutely, you're totally right on the money. And how do we get the influencers?
We have giant events that tens of thousands of people show up at. That's a good start. We have incredible named people, corporate sponsors,
Exactly.
wonderful back ends knowing that this isn't the first annual, this is like the 20th annual, right? That's beautiful. So there's lots of stuff in it that plays to that in that capacity. I am blessed enough that I'm playing on the energy side, and at the same time, I'm also playing on the, I guess, creative side, for lack of a better word, but in a more technical way. Our Allura Creative Agency, for those of you that don't know, we're the only not for profit public relations house in the world. So we pick those that we want to work with. It's handpicked. It's those that have meaning, message, purpose, or trying to do some good in the world, help, heal, not just sell some crap. Those are the ones we want to blow a dog whistle to their target audience. If they're hunting whales, big leaders, giant C-suite, organizations, governments, those are the places that we play really, really well. We have a unique way to play into that area. So if that's something that's needed, by all means, global resilience, world resilience, with those world leaders. Absolutely. And that's the kind of stuff that in the background, it's very quiet and it's a lot of preparation. But then once it becomes cemented, it's something you can bring out and show the world. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's a great idea. I should have thought of that. All these great ideas that everyone should have thought of that, are magically right there. My daughter, she's
Yeah.
15 going on 30, and I joke and say, look around you, sweetheart. Everything. And I do categorically mean everything in your space, on your face, on your body, was once just somebody's idea. None of this stuff existed magically on its own. This is all literally man-made. Some guy or girl had to think of this, convince a whole bunch of other people that this is a good idea. Let's do it. And then let's do it well enough to make enough money to keep doing it. There's
Absolutely.
that flow. We need the money component. Absolutely. Can't just have you can't be poor and help the poor. You can't be broke and
Well,
help the
that's
broke, right?
you can't give that which you don't have,
Sure.
and that's why we
Absolutely.
call money currency
Yeah.
because it flows. And
I love
so
that. Cash flow, right? So yeah, it's called cash
exactly,
flow.
it does. And it has to flow, otherwise it either stagnates or you're just running out of your resources. So then we learn how to become more resourceful, how to position ourselves at the right place at the right time, hopefully doing the right thing. And that is essentially the art of being in a flow, which is also happened to be the title of my first book.
I love that. I love that. I love that. That's so cool. Tell me a bit about the physical location. You're up in Denmark. What is the Resilience Center look like, and what does that do?
Well, the Resilience Center is the brainchild of my apprentice Anna and I when I brought my parents from Ukraine to Denmark as the refugees from the Ukraine war. I realized something about the folks in this country. They're very kind-hearted, very pleasant, very polite, but they suffer from a lot of burnout and stress. And on paper, it's one of the happiest countries in the world, certainly one of the richest countries in the world. And the people are not particularly happy. They actually always complain about how much they're struggling and suffering
Wow.
from emotional challenges that come their way. So that's the first world problem. They're not struggling to put the food on the table or have a roof over their head. They are struggling because there are some expectations of other people. And there are some social pressures and peer pressures. Like I have a student, for example, who told me, I think I'm going to retire. I said, aren't you too young to retire? You're like, what, 45? She's like, yeah, 44. I said, wait a moment. How can you retire at 44? Because I understand Denmark is a nice country, but you probably won't do this like with
That's
everything
true.
when you retire.
Yeah.
So we are a welfare state. So if you can't work, yes, you can retire.
Interesting.
And I was like, why can't you work? Oh, it's too stressful. Well, do you work too much? Maybe you can cut down the amount of hours that you work. How many
Change your
hours do
work,
you work?
maybe. Maybe change
Yeah,
your work. Yeah.
exactly. And she said, I already changed my work and I work 6 hours. I was like, well, 6 hours a day, that's not bad. She's like, no, no, 6 hours a week.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was
I
like,
could
are
see
you
why she's
kidding me?
stressed.
Are you,
She's stressed because she
are
actually
you
doesn't have
a
enough to
brain
do.
surgeon? You're like ER doctor? No, I'm not an ER doctor. What do you do? She says, I'm a Qigong teacher.
And
I
that's
was like,
stressful for her.
maybe you are doing some wrong Qigong.
I was thinking you might be doing this wrong. Yeah. Wow.
And she says, well, I have to deal with the students who are old people, mostly in the retirement community,
Okay.
and they're just not particularly flexible. I'm like, well, how flexible are you? Oh, I'm not really flexible either. I was like, okay, so what's wrong with this
So
picture?
your frequency it magically attracts those at the same frequency. Who knew? Yeah.
Yes. So, and that was not the only Qigong teacher who actually told me that she can't work anymore in Denmark. And not only Qigong teachers, but also massage therapists and yoga teachers and all kinds of other folks who you would think
Wow.
they're doing the dream job. You know, you go teach yoga a few hours a week and you're golden. But no.
Yeah.
Why? Because expectations, they actually say there is this Jante law. Jante law is the uniquely Danish social norm that is like an unwritten law that you are not supposed to stick out. You are not better than anyone else. You don't know anything better than them. Don't you dare think that you have something to teach them or to offer to them that they don't have. It's like completely backwards, right? So I come to this country and I'm like, you know what? Screw the Yante law. This is totally backwards and bizarre, and I do not subscribe to this. The Danes who listen to me, they probably will be gagging. Oh my God, this guy's gonna blow the Yante law. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm a rebel. I'm a maverick. I come to Denmark. I say, you know what? Your Yante law sucks. Quit it. Don't do it. Don't subscribe to it. Remove yourself from the stupid Yante law because that is brainwashing you into some sort of mediocrity. And if you
I think that's
try
for the
to do
masses.
anything
Yeah.
that is beyond the standard stereotype, you sticking
Because it
out
can't be
and
it
you
can't
will
be
be looked.
true, right? Like if you
Oh,
look at
absolutely.
there's got to be artists, there's got to be musicians, singers, dancers, there's got to be
Yeah, but they
politicians.
suck. Look,
Those
look,
are all
look at this
people.
art. Look at this art. This art,
Okay.
it's the Danish art. I- And
Interesting.
it's not like it's bad because it's
Interesting.
hanging in my apartment. I'm renting this apartment, okay? This is the museum level art in Denmark. The famous RO Museum in Aarhus, the second largest city in Denmark, has several stories of this crap. Okay, maybe I'm some little judgmental.
So maybe
It's not
artist was a bad example, but all I'm saying is if you were following that law, you wouldn't even consider being an artist. You wouldn't consider being a politician or a singer. You wouldn't want to be a French fry. You'd want to be a mashed potato. You wouldn't want to stick
Yes,
out.
exactly. And nobody wants to be politicians here. Politicians are not popular people, and that's why it's kingdom. Because why bother run for a political office? Just stick with the program. You know, they've had
Welfare
kingdom for
state.
over 1,000 years, ever
Wow.
since the Viking time. The Vikings were tough mofos. They raped and pillaged the entire Europe, or most of it at least, and they had resilience up to wazoo. They did not suffer from stress. They were killing everyone who was stressing them out.
You think
And
somebody
now,
went home to like one of their Viking like bosses and went, "I can't do this anymore. It is just too stressful. I'm sorry. We're raiding what
I'm good.
4 or 5 raids
I'm
a
gonna
year. This is
retire.
crazy. I gotta retire, man. I'm 45. Still got my health. I'm gonna go."
Yeah, why bother? And so, since then, nobody bothered the Danes. It's like even when somebody would try to
Even the
attack
Danes
them.
don't bother the Danes. Wow. All right.
That's exactly it. And so they basically were like, no, we don't want to fight anyone. We're peaceful people now. And so when Trump says, I'm going to take over Greenland, they shit a brick because it's like, oh my God, what? Somebody's going to take something of ours? There's no crime here in Denmark. Like, cops don't even carry guns. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever come across the cop. I've been living in Denmark for a year. I have not come
Neat.
across the cop. I saw an empty cop car. I actually opened the door. I looked around. There's no cop. Where's the cop? I don't
I
know.
think
They
the
went
car
eating
probably does at
donuts.
least 50% of the same job. Just having a cop car there goes, oh, careful. Does 50% of the same job as actually having a cop, just having a cop empty car. I've heard of that
Yes.
strategy. They put them on street corners and just leave them there. I'm like, people will still slow down. People will
That
still,
was
oh
the
shit, there's a cop
it was
coming.
the only cop car I actually saw in Denmark. So
Let me
they
ask you,
just
because I know we want to get into, and today's such a cool special day. If
yes,
people
please
want
do.
to, yeah, it's the fun in the sun. So I'm off to go do some cool family stuff. I've got my whole wife's side of the family where we get to go play, and it is very, very interesting when you start mixing different cultures, different religions, different groups, and like you'd said, different expectations. Everybody's in a completely different stage of their life. Some are 10 years older than me or 20. Her parents are 80s, her oldest sister. And so you're like, wow, neat. And she's the youngest. And you get a whole different mix of now you've got grandkids, now you've got nieces, nephews. Now they're into their stuff and stuff. So you literally are like circle of life, and you just see it all around you. It's great. It's really neat. You get to celebrate. You get to have family, which is the whole important part of it. And I think if anybody needs, one takeaway for resilience, it would be family. It would be the things that we do for family, for loved ones. That's the
Well,
extension.
I am very, very curious about your presentation because I can't wait to hear and to hear a few other world thought leaders on resilience. And there's going to be your fellow Canadian compatriot, Dr. Simeon Roger, who will be
Mm.
talking about what he calls civilizational resilience.
Oh, interesting. See, now I
That's
want to go see
something.
that one. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. You,
Well,
Lama,
every presenter will get a VIP pass.
excellent, excellent, excellent. You embody one of the things that I talk about in that talk, where
Oh,
you get it together and you start to feel something, and when you put that into some more coherent, concrete terms, you now get a vision. And if you can stick to your vision and express it to others, your vision becomes a mission. And if you can push your mission
okay.
out to enough people, it becomes a movement. And if you can keep that movement going, then it truly makes a global change.
Very well said. I wouldn't have been able to say it that well myself. So
Thank you.
I also appreciate your recognition of my embodiment of it because embodiment is my thing. As a matter of fact, the topic of my presentation at our summit is embodied resilience.
How
So
beautiful.
we are going
How
to have some
beautiful.
fun with that.
Yes, yes, I'm excited. I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look in the ticker tapes, we have with us the incredible Lama Tantrapa. You will want to be popping in and joining us. We are coming up short and soon. There is info in the chat. You can see it everywhere you go. As you know, you will come and find us 7 days a week here for captivating talks. We just finished off today, which was week 2 of season 5. Wow. Almost getting lost in the sauce myself. There's so much action going on. And it was about financial, and it was about money mindsets and retuning yourself back to a financial abundance frequency. So tune in today, a little bit later on. Have some fun. Know that every day is available, and if you want to meet incredible people like the Lama, just reach out, say hi. I'd love to introduce you to some cool people. Come play over at the World Resilience Summit. Meet some incredible people, about 10,000 of us. It's going to be fun. It's going to really be a fun.
It's going to be an amazing opportunity for also mingle with some of the presenters.
Yeah.
Now, how is that even possible? It's a virtual event. How do you get to mingle with presenters? Aren't they like somewhere on the pedestal? There are group sessions. We call them panel discussions or discussion panels, whichever you like. And the VIPs will be able to not just watch and listen to those group discussions, but actually participate. We will literally give them the access to the room where virtual room where the discussion is happening, so they can ask questions. Most of us have at least one burning question about something that we haven't been able to figure it out, and that's going to be a fantastic opportunity to ask a question or simply to network with the presenters and with other VIPs. As I said, all the presenters will get VIP tickets, but we also have some sponsors that will get VIP tickets, and we have those participants who are serious about developing world-class resilience. So they're not only participating in free summit, which is free of charge. For 72 hours, you get access to all the recordings free of charge. But if you want to actually participate in the event more proactively, and you want to have lifetime access to the recordings, well, that is a great opportunity to step up to the plate and upgrade to the VIP ticket, and that is going to give you access to the back end of the events, so we can network with each other and we'll have an online community. So it's not just the 3 days that are going to change the world. We're going to continue changing the world throughout the year. Every month we will be inviting the guests to appear on our meeting and either have a master class or Q&A session, or maybe an author of a book will be reading something from their book. That is going to be happening month after month for the entire year after the summit. And then we'll have another summit. So don't you worry. We're going to actually continue making these summits, and we're going to make them better and better each time.
I can't wait. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to be a part of it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and letting me be on that blessed stage with those incredible change makers, trailblazers, people that are pioneers and going out and doing the hard roll up your sleeves work of trying to change things and not just going, well, it is what it is, or it's always been like this, so what are you going to do? That defeatistness isn't going to get us to a beautiful global unity. And I can't wait. I can't wait to be a part of that panel discussion. That's going to be exciting. I want to meet my fellow friends and presenters. It's going to be beautiful.
It is going to be amazing, and I look forward to that. And thank you so much, Natan, for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us the wonderful Lama Tantrapa. I'm Natan Verhovsky. This has been the Frequency of Abundance. Thank you so much for joining us. And as I say at the end of every episode, be kind to each other. Thank you.